Hey guys, it's Vina and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book tag, and that is the Unpopular Opinions Book Tag. I recently discovered just how much fun book tags can be when I did the book cover tag, and since this one is pretty much a BookTube staple at this point, I thought I'd try it for myself. So just a quick disclaimer before I get into the questions: we are all allowed to have our own opinions. These are just my personal opinions, and if you disagree, that's completely okay. So with that out of the way, let's just get into the questions. So question number one is a popular book or series that you didn't like. And for this, I'm going to go with The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. So I read this book without knowing that it was super popular. I read it before I was really into reviewing. I had just gotten my blog started, I had just gotten Goodreads, and I really wasn't aware of the hype surrounding this book when I picked it up. So I didn't pick it up for the hype, I literally picked it up because my library had it and it looked interesting and I needed something to read. So the hype wasn't a deciding factor in my overall enjoyment of the book. My reasons for disliking this book would probably take up a whole video, and I don't really want to get into all of them here. So I'm just going to say that I didn't end up enjoying this book at all. It was a struggle to get through, and I really didn't like the characters or some of the plot elements. There was one subplot in particular that really didn't sit well with me, and if you'd like to hear my full thoughts on this, I can 100% make a video all about my opinions about The Cruel Prince and why I don't like it. But for this video, I'm just going to say I just didn't like it. It's just not a book for me personally, and I probably will not be continuing on with the series. So the second question is a popular book or series that everyone else seems to hate but you love. And I don't really know how a book can both be popular and universally hated at the same time. So the book that I had picked for this question isn't exactly popular. I don't see it being hyped a lot. I don't see really anyone talking about it, but it does have a fairly low Goodreads average rating, and so I decided to go with that for the answer for the question. I realize that that isn't exactly within the parameters of the question, but I honestly could not think of any book that was both popular and hated by the majority of people that I like. So that book is Megonia by Maria Devona Headley. I ended up really enjoying this book. I didn't go into it with extremely high expectations because of the low Goodreads rating, but overall I just think that this book was wonderful. It was whimsical and I loved the writing. I thought it was beautiful. The audiobook is incredible. I loved both of the narrators. I thought that they did a fantastic job, and I just overall loved how unique this book was. It didn't try to fit into the stereotypical YA fantasy mold. It was very out of the box, and I liked that about this book. Yeah, I don't really know why it has such a low average rating. It is a very different sort of book. It is kind of weird. I personally liked the weirdness, but I could understand if some people maybe didn't. And I did see at least one review that said that the main character just wasn't likable. I personally liked her, but she isn't the nicest person ever, so I do get that as well. But overall, I just don't know why it has such a low rating, because I really enjoyed it and I highly recommend it. The next question is a love triangle where the main character ended up with the person you did not want them to end up with, or an OTP, which is one true pairing that you don't like. So for this question, I'm going to go with a less well-known series because it's really the only one I could think of with a love triangle that went in a direction I didn't like, and that is the Inkworld series by Cornelia Funke. So spoiler warning, I will be talking about the love triangle in this book. I won't be giving any specifics, but if you don't want any spoilers at all for this series, I would advise just skipping ahead. I'll put a timestamp on the screen. So this series doesn't start out with a love triangle. It's just over the course of the 3 books, a love triangle appears. And honestly, I hated the direction that the love triangle ended up going in. I thought that the character that the main character ended up with just didn't really have much of a personality. He just seemed very bland to me, and the chemistry between the main character and the other love interest just seemed so much better and more interesting, and I don't understand why she ended up choosing this brick wall of a human being instead of someone who actually had a personality and chemistry with her. I thought that they would have made a really great couple. Obviously, I wasn't invested in this series for the love triangle, so it didn't ruin my enjoyment of the books, but I just feel like it could have gone in a much better direction than it did. The next question is a popular book genre that you'll hardly ever reach for, and for me that would probably be westerns. I was thinking about this recently, that I just really haven't read any westerns, and I honestly have no inclination to. It just doesn't seem like a genre that's particularly appealing to me. I just have never really understood the appeal of the genre, and I honestly don't think that I would enjoy it. Maybe that would change if I ended up reading a western. Maybe I just need to get some recommendations for good westerns and read some, but overall I'm just not very motivated to. It just doesn't seem like a genre that I personally would like. I am planning on reading the Wax and Wayne series by Brandon Sanderson, which is a fantasy western, but I don't know if that really counts. Honestly, I have never reached for a western. I can't think of any that I've read off the top of my head. Maybe I read a few, but I honestly don't remember if I have. And overall, I'm just not very motivated to pick up any books in the genre. There are so many other genres that I would rather be reading that at this point I just don't think that I will get around to reading any books from this genre. So question number 5 is a popular or beloved character that you do not like. And for this question, I'm going to go with 4 from Divergent. I just really don't like him, and honestly I can't even really remember why. He just kind of falls into a stereotype that I don't tend to like. The, you know, husky brick wall love interest character that you see in pretty much every YA dystopian novel. It's very hard for me to pinpoint exactly why I didn't like him because it's been a good long while since I actually read the books. I just remember how much I hated him while I was reading them. And so it's very hard for me to explain exactly why I didn't like him because honestly, I just remember hating him and not much else. But the character just was everything that I don't like to see in a YA love interest. He was just a very stereotyped character, honestly. He was the hunky dude with a dark, tragic past who, you know, is the love interest for no reason. He's edgy, he's dark, but he's actually not. And I just really don't like that stereotype when it's not twisted or done well, and I don't think that it was done well in For's case. I just really ended up not liking him, and I think that that's one of the main reasons why I didn't end up loving Divergent. There were other reasons, but 4 was definitely a contributing factor to why I didn't end up enjoying the series overall. Question number 6 is a popular author that you just can't seem to get into, and for me that would probably be Veronica Roth, and that makes me feel bad, but I've tried to read 2 of her series. I read the entire Divergent trilogy, and I also read Carve the Mark and DNF'd The Fates Divide. Honestly, I just don't like, I haven't enjoyed any of Veronica Roth's books. I did like Divergent. I think that the plot for Divergent was solid, but I didn't end up enjoying the rest of the series. And Carve the Mark could have been great, but went in a direction that I really didn't like. It was very slow paced, and The Fates Divide literally bored me out of my mind. I had to put it down. Like, I was so bored. And so I just don't think that I am the right reader for Veronica Roth's books at this point. I do intend maybe at some point to pick up her adult book, The Chosen Ones, because I think it sounds interesting, but I'm not holding my breath. I don't know that I am actually going to like it because I haven't liked either of her other series, and so I'm also kind of hesitant to pick up The Chosen Ones because I really don't want to rate another one of her books low. I really don't want to hate another one of her books. But yeah, overall I just haven't really enjoyed or connected with any of her books, and that kind of makes me sad, but yeah, What can you do? Question number 7 is a popular book trope that you're tired of seeing. And for this question, I'm probably gonna go with insta-love. I hate insta-love. Insta-love drives me crazy. I don't understand why it's still a thing in books, but like most books with a romance subplot that I pick up are insta-love, and I just don't like it at all. Like, why does this have to be a thing, guys? Insta-love just strikes me as so unrealistic and annoying. And honestly, if you're going to write a romance, if you want your readers to be invested in the romance, actually put the time into developing the romance, you know? Actually put time into developing the characters' chemistry, their relationship, before their romance. Actually show us why they should be together. Don't just throw them together and tell us that they're in love. Show us that they're in love. That's what I want. Especially when your romantic subplot stretches over multiple books. That means that you have time, you have space to develop the romance properly. You don't need them to fall in love in book 1. You can make them fall in love in book 3, and we will love that. At least, I will love that. I would 100% love a series that did that. And yeah, so overall, I think insta-love is a trope that just needs to end. It needs to stop because it's so unrealistic and annoying, and I don't know that anyone really loves it. Question number 8 is a popular book or series that you have no interest in reading. And for this, I'm going to go with the Shadowhunters series by Cassandra Clare. So these are, obviously there's multiple series, but I don't intend on reading any of them, honestly. I just don't think that I will enjoy them. I have a lot of reasons for not reading them, but I don't want to get into all of them here. I just don't think that I would like them. There are some things that I've heard about the books that just make me think that they would just not be something that I would personally enjoy. No shame if you read them or like them or are planning on reading them. I just personally am not, and I don't think I will ever change my mind on this one. And question number 9 is, the saying goes that the book is always better than the movie, but what movie or TV show adaptation did you prefer over the book? For me, that would probably be Lord of the Rings. And obviously, this is an unpopular opinion. I know a lot of people are diehard fans of the books over the movies, but to be completely honest, I think that the movies just are so much more accessible. The books are very dense. They have a lot of description, and it's sometimes very hard to read. And the movies just capture the story that Tolkien was trying to tell and packages it in a more accessible format, and it's just way more enjoyable for me to watch the movies than try to read the books. I have read the books, I think that they're great, but I just overall prefer the movies, and like, I don't know. I just, personally, I think the movies are works of genius and one of my favorite book-to-movie adaptations of all time. So that is the Unpopular Opinions Book Tag. Did you agree with any of my answers, or did you disagree with any of my answers? Please let me know in the comments down below. Just remember to be polite. I will also be posting the link to the original creators video in the description box down below if you want to check that out. So as I was editing this video, I realized that I'd completely forgotten to tag anyone, and so I'm just quickly popping in here to tag Kate and Tony from an Erudite Adventure if you guys want to do this tag. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of my content. I post videos every Monday and Friday. I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.